why did I age so poorly? Where did all this gray hair come from? Hello and welcome to Tea with Father. This week's episode is a Q&A, but first, before I get to that, I have to share with you a great gift I got from a parishioner. On tea for this week, and she gave me salted caramel yummy tea. And it says on the back, "We hope our tea delights you." And it certainly delights me, so thank you so much. All right, this week was a Q&A, and I got actually 3 phenomenal questions, so I'm going to try to get through them all in the next few minutes. The first 2, awesomely, are about vocations, and the last one's a little bit more personal, concerning the parish. But the first question I got was from John, and he just asked me to share my vocation story. So how did I end up a priest? And at what age did I know I wanted to be a priest? Well, I did not grow up going to church, really. I did not grow up practicing the faith. I was a typical Easter and Christmas Catholic. But in high school, I started feeling a desire, and I cannot put my finger on it. That was 20 years ago almost, and I still cannot describe it well, but there was a desire, a pulling at my heart for something more. And I remember reading online, just when Google was getting popular, about meditation and prayer and religion. It was all my heart searching for something more than myself. And I just remember in high school, my friends were making their confirmation, and I thought, maybe that's the next step. So I asked my mom if we could go to church and make my confirmation, and of course, what parent's going to say no? So we went, and it's been kind of a beautiful journey since then. The sacrament of confirmation just enlivened my heart, and right about that time I felt a strong desire for the priesthood. So right after I graduated high school, I entered our college seminary, and it's been wonderful. I knew that every year I finished another year of formation, that God was confirming in me my call. So I was ordained in 2010 with full joy and peace, knowing that this is what God has wanted for me, and I've never looked back. The next question was from Andrew, and Andrew asks about the seminary formation process. He asks, why does there have to be an age limit for those to be ordained? Shouldn't anyone be ordained if they have a desire to serve the church? Well, I think, yeah, absolutely. And just kind of a note, the minimum year a man can be ordained a priest is 25 years old, and that's for a diocesan parish priest. Some religious orders might have that number a little bit higher or lower, but canonically 25 years old is the minimum age for a priest. Like, I was ordained at 25 years old. There's a whole process of formation that goes into exploring a call. So there's a thing called minor seminary and major seminary. So minor seminary is actually college level. We have a seminary here in Providence called Our Lady of Providence. So that's the college level. Guys are finishing up their philosophy courses, and if they've already have a college degree, they're catching up on some philosophy and theology. So it's a minimum of 2 years, maximum of 4 years in a college seminary. Then you move on to study theology, and you go to a theology seminary like St. John's in Boston, or Rome, like where I went, or St. Mary's, Baltimore. There's many, many seminaries for theology. And that's when priests not only hone their theological skills, but also learn how to be priests. So maximum 8 years, minimum 6 years of formation to be a priest. Why is that? Well, there's a process of discernment, and the discernment goes both ways. Now, of course, a man who's in seminary is discerning whether he thinks that God is calling him to be a priest. But there's also a discernment on the side of the church, where the church is discerning you. Do you have the gifts to be a priest? Is this what God wants for you? And sometimes formators and seminary formators and bishops can see more clearly even our vocations than ourselves. The reason why there's that age minimum for a priestly ordination is that it gives time for exploration. You know, we don't want guys who are just 17 or 18 being ordained priests, because who knows if they're ready to make that commitment for life. Same thing why, you know, if someone wants to get married, we probably would caution a 16, 17, 18-year-old against getting married just yet. You know, there has to be a process of discerning marriage with that particular person. So that's why there is that minimum age of 25 for ordination. But if you are younger than that and you're feeling this call, this desire for priesthood or for service, or even just to explore it, please just click here, and that will lead you to our Diocesan Vocations website, and it has so many answers to questions people have. After getting these questions about my personal vocation and about the process, I started looking at pictures of my own ordination in 2010, and the only thing I keep thinking is, why did I age so poorly? Where did all this gray hair come from? I guess it is just a labor of love. Now, since my ordination was a number of years ago, and I still remember it like it was yesterday, I wanted to invite someone to just share a couple thoughts who's going to be ordained a priest. So we have a short video from Deacon Hip, and he was a deacon here at St. Paul's, and he's about to be ordained for our diocese. So let's listen to what Deacon Hip has to say.
Hello everyone, my name is Deacon Hip Nguyen. I am so grateful to Father Young, who asked me to give a little talk about priesthood vocation to the parishioners of St. Paul's Parish, where I was honored to serve twice, 2 summers. Some of you might know that I was born in Vietnam and came over to the United States to study to become a priest. In my family, I have 3 siblings. My older brother is a priest. One of my older sisters is a nun, and the other sister is married. And thanks be to God, Bishop Tobin will ordain me to a priest of Christ on June 6, 2020, in a couple weeks. Please keep me in your prayers for my final preparation to priesthood. My brother, Father Juan, my sister, Sister Mary, and me always talk to each other about how grateful we are to live in the house of the Lord, to serve Him, and to serve His people every day, even though we are not worthy. A priest is a gift from God to His people. Therefore, we should express our gratitude to priests by praying for them. But the most importantly is to show our gratitude to God by thanking Him every day for the great gift of priesthood, because without priests, there would be no sacraments, no Eucharist, which is Jesus Himself. May I tell you a story which I love so much? A group of Catholic medical doctors and nurses in India get together once a year to do a mission trip to the poor who cannot afford to see a doctor or have medicine, especially to those living far away from cities. Once, the medical team was invited by a missionary priest to go on a mission trip to the people under his care, living on a high mountain. Due to a large territory, the missionary living at the foot of the mountain can only climb every other week to give them sacraments and to say Mass for them. The medical team accepted the invitation of the priest, and they arranged for a day that the priest could bring them with him to see the people and to check on their physical health. However, unfortunately, the priest could not accompany the medical team up the mountain due to his health. At the last minute, he had someone else accompany the team. When the mission team arrived by a bus to the little missionary church in the village, they saw hundreds of people were waiting for them. all with smiles on their faces. Everyone on the mission team felt so excited because they thought that these people were waiting for them to have their physical health checked and to get free medicine and vitamins. When the bus stopped, people ran into the bus joyfully as if they were going to meet the Pope. Every one of them kept asking the same question, which was very surprising to the medical team. The question was, "Where is the priest?" The medical team thought that their question should have been more like, "May I have the medicine for my mother?" Or, "Can you come and help my father who is very sick?" Or, "May I have some of vitamin such and such?" On the contrary, their question was, "Where is the priest?" The only thing that the poor people knew they needed was a priest, because the priest can bring them the sacraments, and the most importantly, the Eucharist, which is Jesus himself. So my brothers and sisters, priest is a wonderful gift from God to his people. Let us always give thanks to the Lord and pray for all priests, especially for priests in the Diocese of Providence. At the same time, we should not forget to pray for more vocations in our diocese. God bless you.
So the final question I got today is from a parishioner named Kristen, and she asks, what is my favorite thing about St. Paul's Parish other than the people, and what is one thing I would change? Now I can get in some pretty thick mud over that question, but I was thinking, what is there in a parish other than the people? Now I could say, I love having a school. I love our church building and architecture. It's so beautiful. I love the neighborhood where we are, where everyone is so connected and welcoming. But again, what other part of a parish is there than the people? So I'm going to break the rules and just say it's the amazing parishioners here. One thing I love about the parishioners of St. Paul's is that everyone is focused on becoming disciples of Christ. There are no cliques, there is no groups, there's no infighting, there's no ideologies. People simply want to follow Jesus Christ, and they're on that journey alone in their own hearts and with this community here together. And that has been so inspiring for me. I have absolutely grown in my own personal spiritual life just being the pastor here by the example of the people. So sorry, Kristen, I have to say it's all of you. What's one thing I would change? Boy, oh boy. Again, not a lot comes to mind. I know this parish everyone's just kind of focused on mission mode, on growing personally and then sharing that with other people. So I don't want to focus on my own parish. If I could say I could change one thing about Catholics in general, it would be to get rid of complacency and lukewarmness. I sincerely desire that all Catholics follow Jesus Christ firmly and with their whole hearts. If I could just snap my fingers, I would pray and hope that the Holy Spirit would enliven all Catholics, that the church is not just something they have to do on the weekends, or it's a sacrament or a hoop they have to jump through, but that relationship with God is something that permeates every single cell, every bit of a person. So that's kind of my job as a priest. I want to set people on fire with the gospel message. So yeah, that would be one thing I would change, and it's my job to change that. So if people aren't becoming on fire with the love of Jesus, then I'm not doing my job. So excellent questions. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me for my afternoon tea, my caramel tea. In the next few weeks, be on the lookout, because we're aiming to open in some fashion by the end of the month, by Pentecost. So there's a lot of details that are going into that. We are working so hard. So we're going to have some videos on what to expect and how to prepare yourself and how to discern if coming back is the right thing right now for you. So please stay tuned and keep connected to us through Flocknote, especially if you're a parishioner, through our Facebook page, through our YouTube channel, and on our website. We're trying to get out as much information and as clearly as possible to you. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you at Mass on Sunday at 9:30 on our Facebook channel. And thank you so much for joining me for my afternoon tea.